Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into some seriously intense cosmic dangers?
Oh, definitely.
We're taking a look at this article called, Should We Be More Concerned with How Dangerous Space Is?
Eh,
And,
I think it's a good question to ask.
yeah, so let's find out.
Let's jump in. It's kind of wild how we just go about our daily lives, you
Yeah.
know? And we rarely ever stop to think about,
What's really going on?
yeah, that delicate balance that keeps us safe down here on Earth.
Right, like we're on this tiny little planet just like hurtling through space, right?
Yeah.
And space is,
A pretty hostile place.
yeah, it can be. Speaking of hostile, remember that asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs?
Oh, absolutely. 66 million years ago, wiped out, 75% of life on Earth?
Yeah, crazy.
A truly sobering event to think about.
It is. And what's even more concerning is that, NASA tracks thousands of these potentially hazardous asteroids. But,
There are so many more that we haven't even detected yet.
it's like playing cosmic dodgeball, right?
Huh.
But you can't even see half the balls that are coming at you. And these balls, they can be pretty destructive.
Oh, yeah.
The article mentioned that an asteroid just 140 meters wide could totally flatten a city.
Easy. And a kilometer-wide asteroid. Forget about it. Global famine right there.
Really, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The impact would throw up so much dust and debris into the atmosphere, it would block out the sun. You'd have widespread crop failures, ecological collapse, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, yeah, now I'm starting to get why this article asked the question about how dangerous space is.
Yeah.
But let's move on from asteroids for a sec. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about something a little closer to home, like the sun, right?
Okay.
It's our source of life, obviously, but it can also throw some pretty intense tantrums.
You're talking about solar storms, right?
Yeah.
Those eruptions of charged particles from the sun, they can have a massive impact on Earth, even though they're happening millions of miles away.
Yeah, the article mentioned the Carrington event back in 1859.
Oh, wow.
Where a massive solar storm fried telegraph lines all over the world.
Can you imagine if that happened today?
Oh my gosh.
Our reliance on technology, we'd be so vulnerable.
I know, right?
No internet, no power grids, no GPS, no communication satellites.
Yeah. It would be chaos.
It would be like stepping back in time, but without the charm of the Victorian era.
I know. And, we're talking about these cosmic dangers, and this is starting to feel a little too real for me.
Yeah.
And on a much longer time scale, like way down the line, there's another solar threat we can't ignore.
Are you talking about when the sun eventually evolves into a red giant billions of years from now?
Yes, that's the one. It's a bit of a bummer to think that eventually, the sun is going to expand and engulf the Earth, make it completely uninhabitable.
It's true. But hey, billions of years is a long time, right?
That's true.
Who knows what incredible technological marvels we might develop by then.
That's true, yeah.
But for now, let's shift gears a bit, okay? Let's talk about a more immediate and arguably more spectacular danger.
Supernovae.
Oh, supernovae.
Oh, you tell.
Those are the real cosmic fireworks. We're talking about massive stars exploding, right? Just like with unimaginable energy.
Exactly. Imagine a single star releasing more energy in a few seconds than our sun will in its entire 10 billion year lifespan.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's mind-boggling.
So what would happen, hypothetically, if a star went supernova relatively close to Earth? I'm talking, within our galactic neighborhood.
Okay, let's say a supernova occurred within 50 light years of us.
Okay.
The consequences would be devastating. The intense radiation from the blast would strip away the Earth's protective ozone layer,
Oh, no.
and we'd be exposed to deadly ultraviolet radiation from the sun.
So like a serious sunburn, but on a planetary scale?
Exactly.
And the article also mentioned something even scarier. Gamma ray bursts.
Oh, yeah.
What are those exactly? Gamma ray bursts are even more intense than supernovae. Think of them like focused beams of incredibly powerful radiation, almost like cosmic laser beams shooting out from collapsing stars or merging black holes.
Okay.
The scary thing is, we might not even see them coming.
Wow. So it'd be like a cosmic sniper shot. We wouldn't even know what hit us.
Right.
And what kind of damage could a gamma ray burst do to Earth?
If a gamma ray burst were to hit Earth directly, it would be catastrophic. It would obliterate the ozone layer in a matter of seconds, leaving all life on the surface exposed to lethal levels of radiation.
Okay, at this point, I'm starting to think we're better off not knowing about all these cosmic dangers. But we're not done yet, are we?
Nope.
The article also mentioned black holes.
Ah, yes.
And those have a pretty terrifying reputation.
Black holes definitely capture the imagination, and for good reason. Their gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape their grasp.
Yeah, and I always imagine black holes as sort of like, cosmic vacuum cleaners, right? Just sucking up anything that gets too close. But the article mentions something about tidal forces. What are those, and how do they relate to black holes?
Okay, so think of it this way. The gravitational pull of a black hole isn't uniform.
Okay.
The closer you get, the stronger the pull.
Okay.
And this difference in gravitational force across an object creates what we call tidal forces.
Okay, and so those are basically stretching forces.
Basically, yeah.
So if Earth got too close to a black hole, these tidal forces would start to, stretch it out.
Exactly. And not in a good way. If a black hole, even one the size of a planet, wandered into our solar system, its tidal forces could literally rip Earth apart before it even had a chance to swallow it whole.
Wow, okay, that is definitely not a scenario I want to picture. But the article mentioned another kind of black hole, something called a primordial black hole. What are those? Are they as terrifying as they sound?
Primordial black holes are a fascinating concept. They're thought to have formed in the very early universe, just moments after the Big Bang.
Oh, wow.
Unlike the black holes that form from collapsing stars, these primordial black holes could be incredibly small, perhaps even microscopic,
Right.
but with immense density.
So we're talking about tiny, super dense black holes zipping around the universe.
Pretty much, yeah.
What happens if one of those hits Earth? Is it like in the movies where everything just gets sucked into a swirling vortex?
Not quite. A primordial black hole passing through Earth wouldn't create a swirling vortex like you see in science fiction. It'd be more like a cosmic bullet passing straight through the planet.
Ouch, what kind of damage would that do?
The impact would be devastating. You'd have earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, all on a global scale. The effects would be felt all over the planet.
So we've got giant asteroids, angry suns, exploding stars, invisible death rays, and tiny black hole bullets. Is there anything else out there in space that we need to worry about?
Oh, plenty more. But for now, let's talk about one of the biggest mysteries in the universe: dark matter.
Okay.
It's this invisible substance that makes up about 85% of the matter in the universe.
Okay.
But we don't actually know what it is.
Invisible matter. That sounds pretty spooky. So how do we even know it's there if we can't see it?
We can't see it directly, no. But we can observe its gravitational effects on galaxies and clusters of galaxies. It's like there's this invisible scaffolding holding everything together.
Okay, so it's like an invisible cosmic glue. But the article implied that dark matter could be dangerous. How can something we can't even see pose a threat?
It's all theoretical at this point, but there are a few possibilities. Some scientists believe that if Earth were to pass through a dense clump of dark matter, its extra gravitational pull could trigger earthquakes and volcanic eruptions.
So it's like an invisible earthquake machine.
In a way.
That's pretty unsettling.
Yeah.
And there was another, even more disturbing theory that was mentioned in the article, right? What was that about?
Some scientists speculate that dark matter might be accumulating inside Earth's core.
Oh, wow.
And if that were true, and if enough dark matter built up, it could potentially trigger an explosion from within the planet itself.
An explosion from the inside out. That's like something out of a science fiction movie.
It is pretty wild, yeah.
So we've got killer asteroids, solar storms, exploding stars, black holes, invisible death rays, and potentially killer dark matter. Anything else out there that could wipe us out?
Oh, the universe is full of surprises. Let's move on to something you might not have heard of. Rogue planets.
Rogue planets. What are those?
Imagine giant frozen worlds, many times larger than Earth, wandering between the stars.
Okay.
Invisible to us because they emit no light of their own.
Wow.
They're like cosmic nomads, ejected from their solar systems, drifting aimlessly through space.
And they're invisible.
Yeah.
That's a bit unnerving.
Mhm.
What would happen if one of these rogue planets entered our solar system?
Well, it would depend on its trajectory and how close it came to Earth. But a rogue planet could disrupt the delicate gravitational balance of our solar system, causing all sorts of chaos.
Chaos. Like what? Give me some specifics.
It could nudge Earth out of its habitable zone, causing extreme climate shifts. It could fling us out of the solar system entirely, sending us hurtling into the cold depths of interstellar space. Or, in a worst-case scenario, it could trigger a collision with another planet, turning our world into a cosmic billiard ball.
Okay, I think I'm officially starting to feel a little bit vulnerable out here in the cosmos. Are there any other, stellar bullies we need to worry about?
Well, besides rogue planets, we have what are sometimes called, stellar bully stars that could pass dangerously close to our solar system.
What kind of damage could a star do to us from that far away?
A passing star could disrupt the Oort cloud.
The what?
The Oort cloud, it's a vast, distant region of icy bodies that surrounds our solar system. And this disruption could send a barrage of comets hurtling towards the inner solar system, some of which could collide with Earth.
So like a cosmic billiards game where Earth is the 8-ball.
Basically, yeah.
Not a game I want to play. The article mentioned a particular star, Gliese 710, that could pose a threat in the future.
Yeah.
What's the story with that one?
Gliese 710 is a red dwarf star, and it's predicted to pass relatively close to our solar system in about 1 million years.
Okay.
While it won't collide with us directly, its gravitational influence could dislodge comets from the Oort cloud, potentially sending them on a collision course with Earth.
1 million years might seem like a long time, but in cosmic terms, it's just a blink of an eye. So is there anything else lurking out there that we need to worry about? Anything that could, end life as we know it?
Well, there is one more thing, but it's a bit of a long shot. It's called vacuum decay.
Vacuum decay. What in the world is that?
It's a theoretical concept that suggests the universe might exist in a false vacuum state. A state that appears stable, but could potentially collapse to a lower energy state, a true vacuum.
Wait, so like a collapse in the universe?
Yeah.
How would that even happen?
The idea is that if some random quantum fluctuation were to occur at some point in the universe,
Wow.
it could create a bubble of true vacuum that would expand outwards at the speed of light.
A bubble of nothingness expanding at the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if it hits Earth?
If this bubble of true vacuum were to reach Earth, it would obliterate everything in its path. Atoms would cease to exist, the fundamental forces of nature would change, and the universe as we know it would cease to be.
Okay, that's officially the most terrifying thing I've ever heard. Is there any way to stop it?
Unfortunately, no. If vacuum decay happens, there's nothing we can do to prevent it or escape it.
Oh, wow.
It would be the ultimate cosmic reset button, but here's the good news. It's incredibly unlikely.
That's a pretty small consolation.
I know.
But you're right. The universe has existed for billions of years, and we haven't seen any signs of vacuum decay yet. So, with all these cosmic threats looming over us, should we be worried?
I think it's important to keep things in perspective. Most of these events are incredibly rare. Earth has survived for 4.5 billion years, and we're still here.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we're invincible.
So we're living on borrowed time.
In a way, yes. Space is inherently dangerous. If we want to ensure the long-term survival of humanity, we can't stay confined to this one vulnerable planet forever.
So what's the solution? Do we all need to start building backyard rockets and blasting off to other planets?
It's not quite that simple, but the idea is right. We need to become a multiplanetary species.
Okay.
We need to colonize other planets, build space habitats, and spread out among the stars. It's the only way to guarantee that one cosmic accident won't wipe us out.
Wow, that's a pretty profound thought. It sounds like a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
Are we even capable of something like that?
It will certainly be a challenge, but I believe it's within our reach. After all, we humans are incredibly resourceful and adaptable.
Well, I think we need a minute to let that sink in. You've given us a lot to think about.
We certainly have. The universe is a dangerous place.
It is.
But it's also full of wonder and opportunity.
Yeah.
And understanding the dangers is the first step to overcoming them.
That's a great point.
It's almost like we need to invest in a cosmic insurance policy.
Right.
Diversify our portfolio beyond this one planet.
And hey, it's not just about avoiding disaster, right? Exploring space, pushing the boundaries. That's kind of like
Oh, absolutely.
a core part of what makes us human.
It's in our DNA to explore, to push the limits.
Totally. But, as we venture out there, the journey itself has its own set of challenges.
Oh, for sure.
Like space travel is intense.
Yeah.
It's incredibly demanding.
You think strapping yourself to a giant rocket and getting blasted into orbit is a walk in the park?
I mean, not really, no.
The G-forces during liftoff are intense. It puts a huge strain on the body.
Yeah.
But it's the long-term effects of space travel that are particularly concerning.
Like what kind of health risks are we talking about?
One of the biggest is the impact of microgravity.
Okay.
Our bodies evolved under Earth's gravity, right?
Right.
So prolonged exposure to weightlessness can lead to muscle atrophy, bone loss, and cardiovascular issues.
So it's like your muscles and your bones are saying, hey, we're not really needed here. Time to slack off.
Exactly. And then there's the radiation.
Oh, yeah.
Earth's atmosphere protects us from most of the sun's harmful radiation down here.
Right.
But up in space, astronauts are bombarded with much higher levels.
And what are the long-term health risks for astronauts exposed to that radiation?
Prolonged exposure to radiation increases the risk of cancer, it damages DNA, and it can even affect cognitive function.
So it's not just about surviving the trip, it's about what happens to you after.
Exactly. And we haven't even touched on the psychological challenges.
Oh, right.
Imagine spending months, maybe even years, confined to a small spacecraft far from family and friends, with limited privacy and constant stress.
Yeah, I can imagine that being cooped up in a tin can, hurtling through the void, would get to you after a while.
It takes a toll.
It's like the ultimate social distancing experiment.
Right. Astronauts have to be incredibly resilient, both physically and mentally, to cope with the demands of space travel.
So we've got the dangers of space itself, the dangers of getting there. What about the unknowns? Like, what are some things we might encounter as we explore further into the cosmos that we haven't even considered yet?
That's the exciting and terrifying part, right?
Yeah.
The universe is vast, largely unexplored. There could be all sorts of dangers lurking out there that we haven't even begun to imagine.
Okay, now you're just messing with me. But seriously, are there any specific examples of these unknown dangers that scientists are thinking about?
Well, one of the big ones is the potential for hostile alien life.
Right.
The search for extraterrestrial life is one of the most compelling questions in science.
It is.
But we have to be prepared for the possibility that not all alien life will be friendly.
Yeah, Hollywood has certainly given us plenty of scenarios for how first contact could go wrong.
Science fiction aside, it's a valid concern. We also have to consider the potential hazards of unknown environments. We're just scratching the surface of exploring the planets and moons in our own solar system, and each one presents unique challenges.
Like what? Do you give me an example?
Sure. Take Venus,
Okay.
often called Earth's twin because of its similar size.
Right.
But it's a scorching hot, toxic hellhole with an incredibly dense atmosphere that would crush any spacecraft that tried to land on its surface.
So no weekend getaways to Venus then?
Not unless you have a fondness for temperatures hot enough to melt lead. And then there's Jupiter's moon Europa. It's thought to have a vast subsurface ocean of liquid water, which is exciting from an astrobiology perspective.
So maybe we'll find like some alien squid swimming around down there.
It's possible. But exploring Europa's ocean would be incredibly difficult. We'd have to develop technology capable of drilling through miles of ice and navigating an alien ocean.
It's like something straight out of a Jules Verne novel. But that's what makes space exploration so captivating, right? It's all about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely. But as we venture further into the unknown, we have to be prepared for the unexpected and approach these challenges with both caution and ingenuity.
Okay, so we've covered the dangers of space itself, the dangers of space travel, and the dangers of the unknown. It's starting to feel like maybe we're better off just staying home and watching Netflix.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Space exploration is inherently risky, yes, but the potential rewards are immense. The knowledge we gain, the technologies we develop, and the inspiration it provides are all invaluable.
I guess you're right. There's something about exploring the cosmos that speaks to like the very core of our being. You know, it's about pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and understanding our place in the universe.
It's the ultimate adventure, the ultimate challenge, and the ultimate quest for knowledge.
So what does all this mean for us here on Earth? Should we be more concerned with how dangerous space is?
I think the answer is a qualified yes. We need to be aware of the risks, but we shouldn't let fear paralyze us. The universe is a dangerous place, but it's also full of wonder and beauty.
That's a great perspective. It's like that old saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Exactly. Space exploration is a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and our insatiable curiosity. We have a responsibility to explore the cosmos, to learn as much as we can, and to ensure the long-term survival of our species.
So what's the next step? What can we do to, prepare for these challenges of space?
We need to continue investing in space research and technology. We need to develop new propulsion systems, radiation shielding, life support systems, ways to make space travel safer and more sustainable.
It sounds like we've got a lot of work to do.
We do, but it's a challenge worth embracing. The future of humanity may very well depend on our ability to conquer the cosmos.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to pause for now. When we come back, we'll be diving into some of the ethical and philosophical questions surrounding space exploration. Welcome back, everyone. So we've been talking about, the dangers of space, right?
I have.
But as we venture further out there,
Yeah.
it's not just about the physical challenges, right?
Right, exactly. We have to consider the ethical dimensions of space exploration as well.
Yeah.
The choices we make today, they'll shape the future of humanity's relationship with the cosmos.
Totally. So, like, what kind of ethical dilemmas are we talking about?
Well, one of the most pressing is the question of planetary protection.
Okay.
As we explore other worlds, we have to be incredibly careful not to contaminate them with Earth-based life.
So, like, we don't want to accidentally introduce some kind of bacteria that wipes out an entire alien ecosystem.
Exactly. Imagine if we discovered a planet teeming with microbial life and then later found out that we'd inadvertently wiped it out with microbes we brought from Earth.
Right.
It'd be a tragic loss.
Yeah.
And a huge setback for scientific discovery.
Absolutely.
And the concern goes both ways. We need to protect Earth from potential extraterrestrial contaminants.
Right.
Things that could be brought back by spacecraft or astronauts.
So it's like a cosmic quarantine.
It is kind of. We need to be super careful about what we bring back from space.
Okay, planetary protection, I get it.
Yeah.
But what about, like, the ethics of actually colonizing other planets?
Right.
Do we have the right to, like, claim ownership of celestial bodies?
That is a complex question with no easy answers. It's uncharted territory, both literally and figuratively.
Right.
Some argue that space should be treated as a global commons belonging to all of humanity.
So no planting a flag and saying, this planet's mine.
Well, it might not be that simple. Others believe that nations or private companies should have the right to claim and exploit resources on other planets.
It's almost like the Wild West all over again, but on a cosmic scale.
It is, a little bit.
So, like, who gets to decide who owns what out there?
That's a question we need to answer as a global community.
Right.
We need to develop, clear international guidelines and regulations to ensure that space exploration and colonization are conducted ethically and responsibly.
It sounds like we need a cosmic rule book. But, those are questions for the future.
They are.
Right now, we're still searching for signs of life beyond Earth. What are the ethical implications of, like, actually making contact with another intelligent civilization?
That's one of the most profound questions we face as a species. How would we communicate?
Right.
Would we treat them as equals or as inferiors?
Oh, wow.
Would we share our knowledge or try to exploit their technology?
It's like all of human history crammed into a single moment of first contact.
Exactly. It would be a defining moment for humanity, and we need to be prepared for all the possibilities. We need to think carefully about how we would represent ourselves and our planet on a galactic stage.
So what can we do to, like, ensure that we approach first contact in an ethical and responsible way?
Well, we need to start by having open and honest conversations about the potential risks and rewards.
Okay.
We need to develop protocols for communication and interaction.
So like a cosmic etiquette guide.
Something like that, yeah. And perhaps most importantly, we need to foster a sense of global unity and cooperation, recognizing that we are all Earthlings, first and foremost.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it? That,
Yeah.
like, despite all our differences here on Earth, we'd be facing this encounter as one species, representing our entire planet.
It really puts things in perspective.
So after this deep dive into, the dangers of space, the ethical dilemmas, and the sheer awe-inspiring vastness of it all, what's the takeaway message for our listeners?
I think it's this. Space is a challenging and unforgiving environment, but it's also a source of immense wonder and potential. It presents us with both dangers and opportunities. It demands that we approach it with both caution and courage.
It sounds like a call to action, like a challenge to rise to the occasion.
I think that's a good way to put it. We have a responsibility to explore the cosmos responsibly, to learn from it, and to ensure that our journey into space benefits all of humanity.
Well said. And on that note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive. I hope you've enjoyed exploring the universe with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep looking up and keep asking questions. The cosmos is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered.